Hey all, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Hope I am audible and clear. Can someone confirm over the chat and you are able to see my screen? Just a kind of check. Thank you very much, both of you. So, thanks for joining yesterday's class. And just to give a small recap, yesterday what we learned about our course, right? I mean, what we understand about our course and what we have learned about data warehousing concepts, right? So just to give a small recap of those things, let me open the document that we prepared and I have shared this document with you also, right? Just showing you the image. The ultimate goal of our data analyst, right? Or whoever working on data related project is to make sure that whatever the data that we are having or generating in our organizations, we need to get a meaningful insights from that one, right? And accordingly to make sure that the performance of both operational systems and analytical systems are not degraded, so we are separating them and creating a separate data warehouse, right? And when we say data warehouse, it's a kind of completely an organized estate or organized like a database or files or something. Similarly, we have data lake, that is a Hadoop based systems, right? Where we can store not only just data in the form of tables, rows and columns, but in the form of files, images, and all those kind of thing, right? That is data lake we call Hadoop systems, right? And further technology has enhanced it. Now we calling as cloud. Everything can be stored, right? So when it comes to the data warehousing, it is all about structured. And when it comes to the Hadoop systems or data lakes, we can say semi-structured. And the finally currently going is the cloud systems. When we say cloud, it's everything on the platforms, right? On the like Google platforms, Microsoft platforms, or AWS, Amazon Web Services, that there you can store everything like unstructured, like our WhatsApp messages, X, Twitter, tweets, and everything completely unstructured. There won't be properly organized, but we get the data, we analyze them through machine learning or whatever different tools. But the underlying requirement is that business want to know how I mean, management want to know how their business is progressing. That is one objective that we need to remember. If we want to become a good data engineer, that we need to know this one, okay, what best I can pull from the data. Okay. If it is a sales related data, how to understand the sales trend. If it is a manufacturing related data, we need to understand how the production lines are organized. If it is a banking related data, then we need to understand how many loans, how many savings accounts, right? Or how many customers are there, right? Just we need to start thinking like a business person. And to get the required business ideas, I mean, business insights, what kind of data is helpful for us? That's what we are going to learn, right? And we are going to present that one. Uh, excuse me. Sorry for the noise. I just kept everyone on the mute to avoid the noise in the class. Okay. You can post the things in the chat channel whenever you have the doubt, right? Database, right? Like a house, and tables are like individual rooms. Okay. As a part of this one, we have seen the important concept of normalized and denormalization, right? If I want to tell you in a simple layman language, right? If we are trying to store all the information, maximum information in single table, we call it a denormalization, which results in the data redundancy, data duplicacy, right? Now we all know, right? Now organizations are not limited to one particular area or one particular city, right? If your business is success, then we are increasing the branches, we are increasing the franchises. That means the data is going to be more and more, right? And so to effectively manage this problem, like getting the reducing the data redundancy, the normalization has introduced, and this further helped in the analytical processing also. Maximum analytical things would be on the normalized form, like having the summarization into maximum normalized form. Operational things would be tend towards the denormalized form. Okay. And another thing which I want to tell you is the requirements in the operational systems is like smaller and faster. That means a customer comes and asks, hey, this is my customer ID. I want to know some details. That means our system should be hitting the data very faster and get a small number of records. Because if I want to see my transactions, out of a million transactions, they would be 10 or 50 or 100 if a month you consider, right? So that is the reason normally online systems, right? They tend to be like normalized, okay? Normal, near to normalized, but not exactly normalized, but they tend to normalize. Whereas analytical systems are highly normalized. Sorry, my bad if I confused with the word. Operational systems or online systems would be tend to be denormalized, okay, because they want to retrieve data faster with small amounts. Warehousing parts majorly would be normalized, because in warehouse what happens is you need to analyze the data. Suppose if I want to get the total sales, I need to scan entire table, aggregate it, and then present a result, right? Now, when you want to count, summarize anything, then having values in the number forms is faster than the text form, correct? So that is the reason warehouses would be maximum in the normalized. That means we should be very confident with the primary key, foreign key, all these kind of relationships. Star schema, did we get? I'm getting this. Okay, this star schema. We should be very crystal clear on the star schema approach. What is fact table? What is dimension table? How these are related? How this one to many relation concept comes? Okay. If you have any doubts, I'm happy to explain you again, right? But when you are going to start with our databases or Power BI, we should be very clear which column in the dimension table will be related to the which column in the fact table, and why, what is the significance. Those all things we should be very crystal clear. Okay, that's the reason I'm asking everyone to please make sure that you are reading all the articles that I provided in the mail and go through the things, right? Fine. Now, as a part of our course, right, we decided to have one database also, correct? So in Microsoft world also, we have lot of databases, right? There are a good number of databases like SQL Server, Azure databases, and they're also providing. But don't worry, we are going to cover one open source database. That means how to write the SQLs, okay? How to write the SQLs, how to install the software, all these things. We are going to cover from the basics to the mid level, okay? And whenever we are practicing this one, make sure you are also practicing at home consistently, right? Don't think that, okay, weekday I'm busy, weekend I will do everything. It's a myth, right? Because when you started working, I mean, practicing on weekend, you may face, if you get some problem, and if we are not able to connect each other, then the day would be wasted. Okay, so slowly start during the weekdays, right? Consolidate your errors, whatever you are coming, then Let me know. I will solve it. So on weekend, you can do a more practice. Hmm? Fine. Let us see why we have chosen PostgreSQL as our database. Okay. PostgreSQL is Object Relational Database Management System. If you remember in yesterday's class, I have explained you Relational Database Management System, right? The Relational Database Management System, where the tables are related between each other to support one table with another. Like a dimension table is going to support the fact table by storing a maximum information in the dimension table, and a reference would be included in the fact table, right? Similarly, object oriented also. When you say object means it's a concept of IT world, it's like a black box. Say I build a function, okay, and I'm not bothered about, I mean, the user who is going to use that particular object or function, they are not bothered about what is the code written inside. They just want to know, okay, I send an input and I get the output, right? I send two numbers, I get the output as addition. That's it. So this kind of object oriented language also in the PostgreSQL, both of things. And it is developed by California, right? University of California at Berkeley's Computer Science Department, right? This is one of the best databases in the current world, PostgreSQL, right? And this is came from the University of California, right? And the department is Berkeley's Computer Science Department. If you just Google this particular department, you would be see the best of the best in the world. Okay, it's open source descent to this original Berkeley code, right? So it have the complex queries, foreign keys, triggers, updatable views. We are going to see. We are going to see some important things. Those are required like aggregate functions, data types, right? Some queries to the mid-level, not the complex, because we want to have the understanding about the database, right? And if you see here, because of liberal licensing, PostgreSQL can be used, modified, and distributed by anyone free of charge for any purpose. To be it private, commercial, academic, so no one is going to ask us why you are using this one. It is a open source. And the installation is also very easy, right? With a couple of clicks and giving some password. Next. I want to just touch base some history about this thing, and we will go to the architecture, and then we will see how to installation and creating the database. Okay. And I hope I am going in a study phase. Let me know if you need anything. You can post it in the chat channel, right? See, it has started as a project with name Postgres by Professor Michael Stoneberg, was sponsored by Defense Advanced Research Project Organization. Sorry, right? The Army Research, if you see these organizations, Defense Research Project Agency, the Army Research, National Science Foundation, like these are the organizations, they have sponsored this one, right? And it has begun in 1986, right? And slowly it has evolved over the years, right? And later on, it has major upgrades happened in 95 by Andrew Liu and Jolly Chen, right? They have added an SQL language interpreter. Why I'm highlighting this one is, as I told you, right? Database means storing the data that is our user, and SQL is like a universal language. Now, Andrew Yu and Jolly Cheng make sure that the Postgres is also able to use SQL language. So accordingly, it is being widely used, right? And finally, in 96, it became clearly named, right? PostgreSQL. So from 1996 to we are 2025. That means almost 30 years, but still this is a market leader. It has slowly evolved. And if you see where are we using this one? Let me get those details. Yeah, PostgreSQL has been implemented in many different research and production applications. Financial data analysis systems, that means like banking systems, fraud systems, right? Fraud detection systems and all those things. Jet engine performance monitoring package, asteroid tracking databases, medical information databases, several geographic information. Postgres has also been used as an educational tool for several universities. Finally, illustrate information technologies. Okay, this is being applied across the domains, across the organizations. There is no different whether it is small or big. All right. So that is the importance of PostgreSQL. So I just want to make sure you are learning Power BI as a Microsoft tool. At the same time, you are going to learn one database from the open source outside the Microsoft. And along with this one, you are going to learn about the SQL structure query language. Our main objective is have hands-on with the SQL language. And I'm going to show you the from the basics how to form the query in the easiest way. At the same time, I'm going to show you the shortest way to create that one also with the help of some tools. But before going to the shortest way, I want you to do hands-on and comfortable uh, with how to create the query. Okay. So coming to the architecture of this particular thing, have you heard about the word client server model? Anyone? God bless you. Yes. So what do you heard about client server model? I'm just getting one more image. Send request and receive response, right? Correct. I think I got a nice database, right? If you see this particular image, all the databases, whatever it is, right? They follow the client server model. That means we are going to have a central server where we are going to install all our database engine, right? Or database software. We can, if I say in a simple terms, we are going to install a database software, right? And we are going to have a client software also. Now, sorry. Now, in this case, when we say the database engine, it's going to be our Postgres server, right? So Postgres server is going to install on the server a central mission, right? Whatever the data we are storing, even we won't be able to see from the server because it would be in a different format, right? And we are going to have a client tools, a different client tools. It can be client tools provided by the PostgreSQL, right? Like pgadmin 4 is one of the client tool which we are going to see, and some command line interface, the Unix based, like where you see a black screen. Okay, I want to show the both the flavors. Okay, it is not mandatory that you need to be working on both the flavors, but as a part of training, I'm going to show you both the things. Okay, and our Internet Explorer, that is also a client tool. When you open a Gmail, right, it is going to hit to the Gmail server and get all your information. If you are composing a mail, right, we just compose the mail. And when you click on send button, the instructions are sent to the server. Server is going to take the required action and it send back as the response, whether the mail is sent or not. Same thing here. So we are going to use a client tools, right? And we are going to send the instruction like, can you create a table? Can you insert some data? All these things. And server is going to perform the activities, send it back. right? Same thing happens here also, right? And these client tools would be varying, vast. PostgreSQL. Even our Power BI is one of the client tool for the database. What we do is we connect to the database and we pull the data, right? So this is what it mentions. Now, whenever we have these connections, client server model, then these devices are connected through the internet. And we say the internet, that means the IPs we should be using, IP protocols, request, response, all these to be managed. That's what it says, right? In the database jargon, PostgreSQL uses the client server model, right? A server process which manages the database files, accept connections to the database from client application, and performs databases actions on behalf of the client. And the database server program is called PostgreSQL. The user client application that want to perform database operation. Client applications can be very diverse in nature, right? A text oriented, a graphical application, a web server that access the database to display the web page, right? So all these things, whatever we discussed. Okay. So before creating the database, right, first we need to install the database. Sorry, should install the database engine, correct? So I have a step-by-step process. I am going to share you with this document with you also. Okay. At the same time, uh, I want you to practice this one. Okay. A simple and straightforward. Okay. We just need to log in into the PostgreSQL downloads. When you open this site, I'm going to share you this link. Okay. And if you click on the downloads, you are going to see different operating systems. Okay. I would request you to please use Windows and you also use the Windows laptop. Why? Because you are learning this first time. So if you are using another OS, the way that you see on the recordings and this would be completely different and you will get a confusion. All right. Go to the Windows and you can see download the installer. You just need to click on it. And if you see here, we have different versions are there, right? Use the latest version of the Windows x86-64. If you click on it, you will get a .exe file downloaded into your download folder. Everything, see, I have created with the marks also. Okay, here it is 7.17.4, but don't worry about it. This one, pick the latest one. Okay, because they do a regular updates. And once you click on this download, right, in the download folder, you are going to see an exe file. Did I remove the one? Because every time I download it, right? So that's why this time I'm not downloading. See this one. PostgreSQL 17.5 Windows x64.exe file is going to come to you. Okay. Since I already installed, now I'm going to show through the presentation. Okay. But it is very easy and straightforward. Just open this exe file. It is going to ask you, pop up you that do you want to change on your laptop some software? Click on yes. And this is the window you are going to get PostgreSQL setup, right? Click on next and you are going to see these four items in the list. SQL server, right? This is the server thing. pgadmin 4, the client tool. Stack Builder is an advanced tool. You don't really need this one. Just uncheck for now. Okay. Command line interface. Command line interface is the text oriented user interface. Right? Just only select these three things and click on the next button. Then you would be seeing the installation directory, right? And again, click the next button. But guys, I would request you don't hurry in clicking the next button. Just go through and understand these, what is the information that it automatically populates. Again, if it populates one more time, just uncheck the stack builder. Okay, for now. Sometimes what happens is people complete the installation, but they don't recognize that they have completed the installation, and again they will try to continue installing stack builder. Just check once that one. Okay. Data directory, you would be having, earlier one is the software directory where your software is going to install, and this one is the data directory. You would be having all the data files that we are going to store in the database. Password, keep it simple and easy. Okay, and don't save the password, just remember the password. Okay, when you first log in, don't hurry in clicking on the save the password, just remember the password, right? Keep it simple and don't forget the password. Okay, port number, that is fine, or default you will get it. And you would be having pre-installation summary. I would request you to copy this one, put it in any notepad and save it with you. In case if you come across any issues, then this will help me, right? Yeah, ABG kind of thing. Yes, Harsh, you would be seeing ABG Postgre. Okay, just make sure you are copying this information and saving it. Okay, next. Once you are done, just click on finish. If it prompts you to install Stack Builder, don't go it, just click on finish it. If you checkbox this one, then again it will go to the installation process. Okay, so just make sure it is unchecked and just finish it. Once you are done with your installation, right? I will going to just complete it, Harish. Once you are done with installation, just go to the, can you go, mine is asking for port number. So guys, are you trying to parallelly install the same? If that is the case, port number should be coming as default. Okay, just please listen to the class and then you can try it. After the class, we will connect to install the database. Okay, so Harsh, for you, it's like step by step. Okay, it is going to ask next and give the password and go ahead it. Okay, now once your installation is completed, go to the start menu and you can see the folders named PostgreSQL 17. Okay, you can see PG admin 4 and you can see SQL shell. What I did is I just kept them as a quick menu, pin to start menu, so that I can quickly see them in the start menu itself, right? And or else you can simply search with PG admin. The logo for the PostgreSQL is the elephant's face, which tells size, smartness, and clever, right? So let me open this one. PGAdmin 4. This is the GUI. That means graphical user interface. And since it need to load all the graphics and everything, parallelly we have SQL shell. See this one, PSQL, right? This is a like text oriented. And in the SQL, we need to give the input. Like in movies, if you see some kind of technology movies that they will show, right? They would be having a black screen and they are going to enter the details like that. So here the server is localhost, right? Because our software is installed on our laptop itself. When it comes to the organization, they are going to provide the IP address or the server name, right? So we need to give the local host. Our PG admin is still opening, right? So let us try to log in here. Localhost. Database name, by default, it shows PostgreSQL, but if we know our database name, we can use it. Okay, for now, I'm just putting as Postgres. This is the port name which we have seen it. Okay. Normally in the square bracket, it shows the default value. Okay. If you are fine with default value, we can simply click on enter. And the username is Postgres. Guys, don't confuse with these ones. Okay. Our username is Postgres. Okay. And also there would be one default database as Postgres also. Okay. So I'm just giving Postgres. And it is going to ask the password. And I want you to remember one thing, guys, everyone, please attentive. When you are typing the password, the cursor don't change its position. It just stay there and continue blinking. Many times students who are trying first time, right? They type the password, but since the cursor don't move, I mean, they feel that, okay, password is not being entered and end up with entering the password multiple times and resulting in password error, right? Just see, I'm started typing my password. Password authentication failed. So that means I need to reopen again. See, let us reopen again. On the background, you can see PG admin is open, right? We are going to see that one also. Let me complete this one since we already in the mid. Oh, what did I do? Could not transition. Ah, my, see, spelling mistake. Instead of localhost, I missed the A, so that's what it is saying. Could not translate host name. Not known. Let me enter again. Since I'm going with default values, localhost Postgres Y432. Now let me give the password. Is my cap lock is on? No. Let me try here once. On the PG admin 4, right? On the right side, on the left side top. Guys, please check it here. On the left side top, we are going to have the servers. See, here the servers. Okay. And when you click on these servers, you are going to see the database engines. So I have 16 and 17. For you, you are going to see only the 17. Okay. When you click on this, expand this one so that it will ask the password. Let me type the password. Okay. Password is correct. And if you see here on the left side pan, all the databases, as of now, there are 9 databases are there. So that means almost previous 9 classes. Earlier, I would have worked on PG16, later on 17, right? And in the last class, we worked on Trust Bank. That is the reason it by default expanded or connected, I would say simply. And the Postgres is the default one. And if you see rest all database are not connected at all. The gray color cross mark is that it says that it is not connected. And the yellow color is connected, right? Within the database, we would be having a schemas, right? If you see here, and the public is the default schema. Okay, we use to restrict the control. We create different schemas. And within the schemas, there are different types of objects are there. At this point of time, you don't need to worry, but our main focus with the tables and views that we are going to create. Okay, this is the GUI, graphical user interface. If you want to connect any other database to see, just click on it. See, the color has changed. And expand the, where is the schemas? And there would be further tables. If you want to disconnect, right click. Where is the option to disconnect? Disconnect from database. Yes, this is disconnecting, okay? Not removing or deleting, just disconnecting, right? Now, let me log into the command line also. This time I remember the password. Localhost, Postgres 5432, Postgres. See, the cursor didn't change its position. See, and I want my students to have good understanding with both the flavors, a command line interface and the graphical user interface. Now in the graphical user interface, when I connect it quickly, I can see everything, right? I can see all the things. Oh, this many databases are there. But how to see what is present? I mean, what things are there in the text oriented? We also call this command line as a text oriented tools. And that means we need to run every command. If you want something, then you need to use a command that is allocated to that particular activity. Now, this command is also very simple. The more you practice, then you can easily remember. Say, like if you want to list what are all the databases available. If you want to see, okay, what is the databases available? Just \L, small letter. See? And you are not going to see something colorful here. Everything is in the list form. All the databases. And their uh, parameters, whatever this, like who is the owner, what is the encoding, and few more details about it. Now, how to know which database we have connected? Like now it is Postgres. Now, if I want to connect any other database, JP Morgan, we can just select and right click so that it will be copied. /C is a connect. Paste is again right click. Okay. If you want to copy paste anything, we just need to double click on it so that it would be selected. And if we do right click, it would be copied. Again, and if you do one more time right click, it will be pasted. Right? And just click on enter. See, you are now connected to the database JP Morgan. Using text oriented or command line is a bit harder, but it helps us a lot. It makes us a pro in coding things. Okay, don't worry. And if you want to see what are all the databases, what are all the tables available in this particular database, then /D display. See, these are all the display. And in the graphical user interface, right, what we did is we just expanded. We have gone to the respective folder and we just again further expanded, right? Whereas in the text oriented form, we should be listing them with a command. Okay. There is no hard and fast rule. Okay. I'm just showing you. You just practice whichever you are comfortable. Hmm? Now, where to start? The question comes, right? Like whenever you want to create an SQL structured query language, right? First thing we need to open a query tool. Okay, before starting this, there are some questions are there. Let me go through them once. Can you go back asking for port number? Okay. Can you go back mine? Caramel, we will work on with your port number. Okay. Unable to download. This is going a bit fast. Okay. I will slow down. Are we able to query from the text oriented command prompt as well? Yes, Katie. We can query from the text oriented command prompt also. Right? I'm going to show you that one also. Okay, Hush, I will be going slower. Okay. However, using MySQL, it's much easier. So, Benjamin, in this course, we have included PostgreSQL. Okay. But as I told earlier, SQL is a universal language. Okay. If you do learn well in the PostgreSQL that how to write the SQL, then MySQL will also be more or less, you can easily work on that one also. Okay. Now, if you see here, query tool. Okay. So whenever you want to write an SQL, right, to perform an action on database, then we click on this one. As of now, this is connected to the trust bank because we have connected to this one. Okay. So slowly we will reconnect to our database because first to create any database that we should have a query tool, right? Can you suggest in our class which database shall we create for which domain? Like, is it a retail, banking, or any other things? Which one you want to try? Okay, banking is a common thing comes. What is the bank name you want to use? For which bank? HDFC Bank. Okay, fine. We will use HDFC Bank. Hmm. So another interesting thing what I want to say is even SQL, even it's a query language, but it is almost like a simple English language. Very, very simple English language. Okay. Many people think that, okay, SQL means there is a number, hundreds of lines of code is there, right? Nothing like that. Even if you go to the Python or C Sharp, I mean, they would be having some kind of keywords, functions, right? Getting some, importing some libraries, all these kind of things would be there. But when it comes to the SQL, it is pretty straightforward, right? Now, we are going to learn how to create the database, right? We are going to ask PostgreSQL, hey, can you please create a database for me? Like how we say that, can you make a cup of coffee for me, right? Can you create a presentation for me? Same thing here also. Create database. And we should tell what is the database name. Say if I want to create test DB. And all the SQLs should be ended with the semicolon. Okay. What semicolon means? It tells when we are running the query. Okay. It tells that whenever semicolon comes, it is the end of the query. Now execute that one. So I got all the inputs. I can see the end of the line also. Please execute the query. That is what. And whenever you are running query, make sure you are selecting that query and then executing. Don't forget to do that one. Okay. Query returned successfully 780 milliseconds. If you see the message here, create database. Now, if you want to see, right click, refresh. See, we have a test DB. Same thing if you want to see from the command line, /L, small l. Command line interface is case sensitive. Please remember that one. See, test DB. Now, when you want to delete this DFD completely, right? Drop database. Drop database. And the good thing with SQL is it follows some color combinations. Whatever the keywords, those are part of the SQL. You can see they show in a purple color, right? This is a purple color if I'm not wrong, right? And it also tells us, okay, if you're creating a word and it is purple color, so that is a keyword used by the SQL. So let us avoid using that one in our naming wherever we are using names and everything, right? So let me select this one and run it. Drop database. Let me refresh. See, test database is gone, right? No hard coding, nothing is there. Simple thing. Okay. Same thing applies. If you go with the logic, can we say delete database? Right question, Hers. So delete is not going to work because whenever you want to drop the objects, okay, whenever you want to completely remove the structure, we are using the drop command. The delete keyword is used whenever we want to remove the data within the tables. Okay, so you have a data in the table and you want to delete a record, then we are going to use delete option. So that keyword is used for the removing the data, right? Now, shall we create database, one more database, this time HDFC? No, it's hard. Right question, Katie, you asked. Thanks for putting that one. So whenever we are dropping a database or deleting the data, right? So by default, there are no option to restore it, but we have some process. Okay, suppose what happen is in organization, they do some backups also. Okay, one way is that irregularly backups would be happen, right? So in case if you by mistakenly dropped any database, that you can restore that database from this backup process. That is one approach. Okay. And when it comes to the data, suppose if you feel that, okay, I just don't want to apply till everything went smoothly, then we have a concept called begin and end transactions. Okay, we have a separate topic on that one, and we are going to learn it. Begin and end transactions. Okay, so that tells us how to restore the deleted data or how to restore the dropped database. Okay, but these drop delete are bit dangerous one, so we should be taking care that, okay, I'm 100% sure that I really don't need this data, or yes, I have a backup mechanism if I want to restore this again. Okay, one of things to be true when we are going executing these things, right? HDFC underscore bank. HDFC is a bank again. Do I need to have HDFC? Home Development Finance Corporation, HDFC Bank. Semicolon is important. Query is created. Refresh. HDFC Bank. And there is one thing that we need to remember, guys. Please remember. Here you are connected to the trust bank. Now, whatever we are, any prerequisite for this course? No, nothing, Katie, because our course is designed from the basics. Okay, as I told you earlier, you are learning from the basics. Okay, so nothing much of the prerequisites is required. Just you need to have understanding about how to use the laptop. Okay, we are going with the basics. Remember that one. We are connected to the trust bank database. Okay, so further, if you execute anything, that is going to be applied in the trust bank. So if you want to go to our HDFC, let us connect this one, right? And open fresh query tool. Now, if you see, this particular query tool is connected to the HDFC Bank database. User ID is Postgres and database engine is Postgres 17. Okay. Why I am stressing this one is many students continue creating the further things in the same thing like previous database and Okay, they done everything, but they don't see the tables they have created because we created in one database and we are seeing in another database. Okay, so I'm just getting this into here. Now I'm going back to here. So once we created our database, what is our next step? Creating tables. Will you agree with me? So what happened in the organizations, right? We directly don't open the database and create it. Okay. First, a team of members. Are you trying to say that newly created DB will be nested under the? No, that is what I'm saying. It is won't be nested under that one. Okay. It is parallel, this new database. And make sure when you are creating any new tables or anything new that you are connected to the right database. Okay. Ha. In the organizations, what happened? So it's not like that they are going to give you a database and ask, okay, go to your system and start creating. No, right? We would be having scrum calls, right? Meetings, discussions with the design team, designers, data engineers. And first we will understand what is required for my HDFC bank. If they are building a database for a loans department as a part of data mart, what kind of information they are going to store, right? Now I'm asking in a general terminology, right? In the bank, what kind of information we would be storing? Don't think it's like a database, just think in a general layman language that we all know, right? Banking system is work. User data, when we say Benjamin users, is it customers? Let us small tweak this one. When you say user, is it customers? Okay. So that means I need one table for the customers. Customer. Okay. Next one. Katie has told accounts, loans, all these things, right? Even if you see the banking terminology, we need to also understand the with banking terminology. That's where the people ask, okay, which domain you have worked, what level of knowledge you have. Now, when you say accounts and loans, obviously that would be coming as an accounts, right? Accounts table. What other tables can I have? I want a couple of 3 to 4 tables names so that we are going to work on all those 3 to 4 tables. Now, guys, you are going to do this work. Okay, it's not me. I'm going to tell you with a compliancy. Okay, so you need to help me. What kind of column should be there in the compliancy? Huh? Uh, I would be keeping a column for the branch. Sorry, I mean to say table for the branch. Okay, customers, branch, accounts. Okay, further would be coming. A big list would be coming because banking is a very bigger one. Loans also comes under accounts because when you see in the banking terminology, I have a loan account, I have a savings account, right? You are going to have a home loan account, bike loan account, like that. Now, once we have these tables, the next question comes is what information about the customer you are going to store? So this comes as a part of a design review. Designers do along with business. Now, can you tell me what columns that we should be having in the customer table? Or I would simply say what kind of information you are supposed to store in the customer table. Name, okay. I'm going to add a short name of cust. Normally we follow this short name. I mean, if we know table cust, we will put as cust. If it is a branch, it's kind of brie, like that. Customer name, uh, account number I would be having in the account table. I'm just looking what customer information I can store. Contact details, okay. So customer contact number. What is TFN? Username, tax file number, okay. Customer username or user ID or whatever it comes, okay. I'm not going to use customer username for now. I'm going to tell why, okay. But tax file number, customer tax file number, customer address, okay, customer credit score, customer email, very important thing. Let me keep all the contact related information columns at one place, okay. Customer contact number, credit score, okay. And customer date of birth also I'm keeping, okay. So fine. I have the customer table and I'm going to have the columns, right? Along with this one important column would be there. That is customer underscore ID. In the database world, each and every table, okay, it is a what we call, I'm not getting that word. It's not mandate, but it is a enforced rule in the database that you should have a unique column, customer, it's identification column. Like whenever you are creating a list of items, right, you definitely keep one column as serial number. Will you agree with me or not? So you need to prepare list of items, but the first thing comes serial number. Even in Excel sheet also, if you are preparing something, you will put, okay, first column as serial number. Like that is going to be our primary key or unique identifier. And it always follow the integer so that it would be easier for us to handle, right? So once you are done with your column names, the next important thing is defining data type, right? We are all saying that the data that is stored in the database is a structured data. Why we are saying it's a structured data? Because first we are defining the structure. Okay, I'm going to have a table and this table having 10 columns and this column name is this one and this is the data that it's supposed to store. If the data is not fitting to that one, then it is not going to enter. Now customer ID, what can be the data type? Can anyone just a guess? Do you think integers? Okay, it should be integers or numbers. In the PostgreSQL, we have different ways to represent the integer or number value. And I'm going to take the mostly used one, that is int. Okay. Int is a data type that can store integer values or numbers for a range. I'm going to show you what is that range, but just now remember. Customer name, char, varchar, right? We have two options like char and varchar. Okay, char, var, char. See the color of this data types, it is like blue color, right? So all the database would be shown in the blue color, and whenever we are defining the varchar, we should be giving the length of it. Now varchar 50 means it is going to accommodate a name or a text value till 50 characters. If it is beyond 50 characters, it is going to throw an error. If the 50, I mean beyond 50 characters, if it is a spaces, then it will trim it, right? TFN is a text kind of thing or a character? Tax filing number. Can I go with the integer? Katie, you want to highlight what would be the TFN number value looks like? Okay, integer. Contact number, I'm going with integer. Address, again, varchar of 100. email address. I want to put as a char because I just want to show you the difference. 30. Credit score int. Date of birth. So we have a data type called date. What it is going to make sure? It is going to make sure a valid date values are stored. A valid date values. Date. Okay. And today we would be focusing on creating a basic table. Okay. And we will be see what is the I mean, what is the problem with this basic table. Okay. And tomorrow we are going to create another table that have more controls. Okay. Why I'm saying this one is because I don't want to show everything on day one and confuse you. Okay. So what are the basic things needed to create a table is table name, columns and their data types, right? And formatting this particular query. Now we feel there are 14 lines, but actually it's just like three topics: table name, column names, and the data types, right? Now we just need to add the syntax to that one. Now, if I want to tell to database how to create a table, can you just guess it? Okay, I want you to do a guess. What can be the keyword that I should write? You can refer to the keyword that we use it to create a database. Okay, I want to make it more interactive. Okay, it's not like that. Okay, Harish is telling and you're listening. Okay, and I want to make sure that you are not sleeping also. Okay, what should be the keyword? Okay, create. Thanks, Helen. Create what? We need to tell to database, right? Create customer. I already have it's a table name. Yes, create table. Okay, so this is the object, a kind of table. So we need to tell them, boss, create table. If you know how to create a database, then subsequently you would be knowing how to create a table also. Okay, create a table, customer, and all these columns, since these are all different columns and their information, what in SQL we do is we keep everything in the brackets, open bracket and a closed bracket at the end, right? Along with this one, we are supposed to put a end of the line semicolon. Okay, this is the first thing. The first thing is creating a table and keeping everything in the closed brackets, right? And we need to make sure each and every column related information is separated with a comma. That's it. If you understand this logic, it would be very easy. Last column, you don't need to put the comma. Please remember, because we are closing the things. Okay, sure. Make it more interactive. It will be better if we can talk, then type it chart. That's possible. Okay, then take canvas, right? So this is all about my query is ready. Now let me execute. And we should be very clear about this syntax and everything, because we have the tools. Those can simply in couple of clicks generate this entire query. But if we missed something and if may throw an error. Okay, just for your example, suppose if I miss it to remove this comma, I miss it to keep that comma. Syntax error at or near customer address. So what happened normally, people think, okay, there is a problem with this line. But problem is in the previous line, the comma is missed. I mean, which tells that, okay, these are the end of this one. Won't you comment the rest of the section, branch, account, etc. Um, Katie, I'm not commenting them. The reason that is the reason I'm selecting and executing this one. Okay. Whatever you said is right. Without selecting, if I execute this one, it will throw an error. See, syntax error at or near branch. Because if you are not selecting, it will try to execute all the things and it will throw an error. At a times, this is what the problem comes for the students who are doing first time. They don't select, but they run the query and it will continuously throw an error. So what is the best practice is whatever the query that you want to execute, make sure you are selecting it and running it. Table query returned successfully, right? So now if I expand my schemas, within the schemas, the tables, I have the customer table. And if I want to see the customer table, what are all the columns are there? Columns, 8 columns. And I am repeating, this is the very, very basic table. And we are going to insert the data into it and we see what are the problems that we face. And we next going to create another table. And also we are going to fix this table also, the problems that we are going to face. Okay. And another important thing is how I can make sure that whatever I am created that I am going to use tomorrow, right? By saving this file. Okay, guys, remember here we are saving the SQL instructions that we created. Okay, not the data that is in the database. Save. See, these are all the SQL files. And all the SQL files are saved with the extension of .sql. Like MS Word things are saved with MS Word, right? Excel files are saved with .xls, correct? Similarly, SQL file is going to save with the pattern of .sql. I'm going to put HDFC Bank. Save it. See, the SQL file name is also changed. Now I can close this file. Varchar means that you can use numbers and letters. Varchar means we can store anything. Numbers, letters, special characters, everything. Okay. See, now I have saved this file, right? HDFC underscore bank. Now I can close this one. Again, tomorrow when we start our class, right? I'm going to connect with our database and open the query tool. And I'm going to open my SQL file. This is how we need to work on. Okay. Is it clear till now? How to create a database and how to create a table in it, right? And the creation of objects or creating of the tables, objects and anything, right? We telling how your data should be stored, right? So within the SQL, again, we term these particular queries as data definition language or DDL. Okay. It's a SQL only, but a kind of a subcategorization. Whichever the queries that is used to define a tables, a database or a view, we call them as a data definition language. Okay, there is a backup is also there. I will try to get that particular image in the coming classes. Now, when you create a table, next thing is, what is the next thing? Do we delete a table or drop a table? Table If you want to completely remove it, it's going to be drop. As I told you, right? If you want to remove the structure, it's a drop. Correct. Now, let us see what is there in the table. Now, if you're going and asking something, hey, can you show? Hey, can you select this dress for me? Same thing applies here also. Yeah, we are going to come there, Katie. First, let us go in the order. Okay, we created. Let us see what is there in the table. Insert the data, and then we go for the deletes. Okay, this is the flow. Thanks for your interest and enthusiasm. Okay, we will see that one. Now, querying the data. Hey, do you have any queries? Yes, I have a query. I want to ask database, can you show me my table? What is data it is there? So select star. Star in the database world is like all. Whenever you are using the star, okay, don't worry, we will come. Huh? Database. Whenever we select the star, okay, in the database star means all. Select star from customer. Oh, semicolon. This time I don't want to drop the table immediately. That is the reason I'm not telling drop now. Okay, see, like all our columns and their data types, integer, character, integer, varchar. Okay, if you see here, we have a detailed description about what each and every column does. Let me show you the theoretical part of it, creating a table. See, you can create a new table by specifying the table name along with all the column names and their types, data types. That is what we did it. Table name, column names, and their data types and the syntax thing. Okay. We can also use a double dash wherever you want to put the comments. Okay. So if you see here, I have used double dash, sorry, my bad. So double dash is used for the comments. Okay. Suppose if you want to say dropping database. So whatever the things you write after these two dashes is considered like a comments. Okay, a message kind of thing. White spaces can be used freely in the SQL. That means you can type the command aligned differently than above or even all in one line. Okay, the best thing with SQL is we can use the spaces. Suppose if you see, I have kept lot of spaces here, right? In between them. So we can use spaces freely so that I can show you all these in a properly to understand with you, right? Or else if you are a champ, I mean, if we know that thing, then we can write this entire query in single line also like this. See, I can simply write everything in a single line, a single statement kind of thing. But problem with this approach is we may not be able to understand, right? But we can also write everything in single line, or else we can use spaces, new line characters. I'm just doing Control Z. Okay, just reverting back the things. Everything can be written in single line with proper spacing, or we can have properly, right? SQL is case insensitive. Okay, so that we can use small or capital letters. That's not worrying us because it's a case insensitive. Varchar 80 specifies a data type that can store arbitrary character string up to 80. Int is the normal integer type. Real is a type for storing single precision values. Date should be self-explanatory, right? PostgreSQL suppose standard SQL type. Like if you see here, int, small int, real int, we are going to see about all these things. Character, varchar, date time as well. So we are having a good number of data types. So we are having a separate class as data types. Because I'm going to show you data types is also kind of a universal topic. Like SQL is a universal topic across the databases. Data types is a universal topic across the data related tools. Even in Power BI also we have the data types. So we just kept this as a bridge topic between the Postgres and the SQL Power BI. Okay, that's it. More about a description about what is this database and table, right? Now populating the rows, right? The good thing with SQL is once you created the table, right, we are supposed to insert the data, right? This thing we call it as queries, simply queries. Spelling QUR queries. Okay. So before queries, we need to insert the table, right? Insert the data into the table. So we will be seeing couple of insert queries, okay? And then we will wrap up the class for today, okay? We will be under not more than 10 minutes, huh? And we will see more examples in the next class also. Sure, Katie. You just WhatsApp me once. I will keep it handy and I will send it to you. Now, how to insert the data into the table? That is a question, right? So there are two ways are there. First, we will see the shortest one. Like when you are creating the table, we are telling, can you please create, right? Similarly, insert into customer. And what you want to insert? Values, right? Like all the columns are in the bracket. So we are going to keep the brackets and semicolon. Now we are supposed to give the values for each and every column. Okay. So when we are declaring the values, so what it does is it follows the same order that columns are there. And another important thing is if it is a integer value, then we can directly write it. Say, suppose I'm starting with 7001, comma separated, customer name. All the non-integers should be kept in the single quotes. Okay. Please remember that one, single quote. KT Acharya, comma separated. Tax fin is an integer, so I'm going to take a random number. Contact number, I'm just taking random. Address, again, it's a kind of a text, so I should keep in the semicolon, single quote values, right? Road number 10, New Delhi. Email address, again, it's an audio. Credit score, 80, comma, date of birth, 1990-02-05. Okay. So simple thing we say insert into where you want to insert customer values. What are all the values? Right? Select it. Query returned successfully. Now, if you want to see, just let me put these for now at the top. See, we have one record inserted. And I need your help to practice at least 15 to 20 queries. Suppose if I show you in the class 4 to 5 SQLs, right? Or statements that you need to insert at least 20 records and share it those records so that I can also add here, because down the line we are going to have more and more information. Okay. What else can we store? Similarly, we can go on adding. Okay. There are different ways to rewrite this query. Okay. Either we can have a single query, I mean, multiple queries like this, but or else multiple values separated by comma. Okay. As I told you, right, SQLs can be written in using the spaces, right? So we have this is first set, comma separated, second set, third set, fourth set. All should be comma separated. Okay. Now let me change to Johnny. Road number 10, Hyderabad. And here I need your help to get more records. Credit scores 70, 99. Okay. 3, 4, Ravi. I want to leave this number as it is. Next one is Camel. Okay, let me run this one. See, everything is executed. Okay, see, data is loaded. We are almost having 5 records, right? Now, how this data is going, I mean, data types is going to help, right? Now, let me show you. Suppose if I entering anything that is state text in between the integer, see, trailing junk after numeric literal or near this one. So this data type is going to make sure that the value specified as per the data is being stored, right? When we say integer, yes, it is storing the integer, but by mistakenly, if someone has put text, it is not allowing. So in this way, database is going to maintain the some data qualities. Okay. Suppose in the date, suppose if I set it to 24 and 17, 2019, right? We know, right? There is no date that is going to have 24 or 19. See, date or time field out of range. Okay. So in the basic table, it is going to make sure, right? Whatever the data type that is we are specifying, it is going to validate those data types and making sure, yes, only those values are stored. Like if it is an integer, integer values. If it is a date, proper date is stored. And if it is a varchar, yes, we don't have an option that it's going to store all the values related to varchar, right? But what is the problem with the basic table? Now, here is the table sitting in front of you. Now, can you tell me, are you observing any issue with this table? If so, what is it? See, just think of it. It is a simple list of items in front of you. Okay. I want to know what problem you are facing. Okay. Benjamin has highlighted that customer ID. Yes, customer ID. If you see in a banking terminology, the customer ID should be unique. Correct. It is making sure it is not, it is a integer value, but in the basic table, it is not making sure that, okay, I need to make sure a unique value is stored in the customer ID, right? Similarly, if you see the email address, right? Email address also supposed to be different, but if you see there is a common email address. Normally, why this happens is whenever we are storing the data, right? At a time, so what happens? People may not be, people are in a hurry, or they don't have enough knowledge, or there can be a human errors, right? They copy paste the details, but they forgot to copy it, but they paste the old details. Correct? So today you have learned how to create a basic table. And I want your help to do a lot of practice on this one and find out what are the problems that we are facing with this basic table, right? So that tomorrow we are going to see the advantage of constraints, and accordingly we will modify our customer table to have the right level of constraints. Constraints means limitations. Okay. So tomorrow we are going to see furthermore how we can have the full control on our table. Okay. But from the columns we have the place, the DB will have its own record ID created by default. Yes, Katie, those information we are going to see in the system columns. Okay. I'm going to show you how PostgreSQL internally creates its own columns and to track the audit thing, right? Now, like we have data definition language, which defines how your data to be there, right? Similarly, the queries that are used to insert the data or modify the data, those we call data manipulation language, DML. Okay. So it's just a kind of a simple terminology further to segregate within the SQL what kind of table, what kind of queries we come across. Okay. So I think I will put these for comments now. A create table is a data definition language, right? That is sitting here. And an insert queries is a data manipulation language because we are using these queries to manipulate the data. Either it can be adding, and we are going to see in the coming classes about the updates and deletes also. Okay, but as for the today's class, I want you to install your database, start creating the databases and creating the tables in it and loading the data. Okay, pretty simple and straightforward. We start with the basic things. Once we have the hands-on with the basics, so that we can see how things would be done advanced. Okay, I'm going to save this one, and I'm also going to share you this SQL file. We can simply open this as a notepad in the notepad, and you can refer this one and you start creating your SQLs also. Okay, so I'm just stopping the today's class.